Hello, friends. Okay, so we got the PM session setting up nicely. As you can see, I outlined the lunch high and low, and we swept that liquidity and then dropped. How do we know that was a liquidity sweep? We know that was a liquidity sweep because on ES, if you look, they're equal highs, and it was an SMT divergence for the NASDAQ, and that is what allowed it to drop like that. We are now at the bottom of this weekly volume imbalance. So it's this weekly volume imbalance right here. On the daily, we came very close to the bottom of it. We took the lunch sell side liquidity. I outlined this breaker here. So it's the high, low, higher, high. And I'm curious to see, I know this morning, if you listen to my recap this morning, I spoke about taking PD arrays that are within the top 50%. If we want to see more downside price action, I like this breaker. See how the majority of it is within the 50% level. So I like that. I am a little nervous about these equal highs on ES. I would hate to see us kind of just take liquidity and then run these highs. That is a possibility. I would like to see how we treat this breaker before doing that. So we're just going to kind of watch price. I would have liked it if we had a more obvious target to the downside as a draw on liquidity. As you can see, our range. So in the 15-minute, we've kind of been chopping around, and this run below the sell side took some nice, just took a lot of equal lows. So sell side liquidity has been purged. So we're going to wait and see. So let's see. Let's see. If we were to enter short, I'd probably place the stop right above this candle high because I don't want to see any high taken. Let's check out the dollar. The dollar seems to be making higher highs. It's very well we could just stop here because we're hitting that order block, which is these two up close candles. So we just touched this order block. You can see on the 5-minute we kind of came down below this candle. I want to see, kind of get a little more certain on where this draw of liquidity is. I'm also watching the dollar. Gonna check out ES. See if ES tells a better picture. ES is looking a little more bearish. Yeah, I'm liking downside a little more right now, especially with this dollar going up. ES looks a little more bearish. Let's sell one there. Put the stop above that up close candle. We might not reach back into that. Might just go without us. We might have missed the boat, but that's okay. I'm going to take that off for right now. Dollar's still rising. Looks like it wants to take a higher high. You can see that if this is the order block we're looking at, we stayed right below mean threshold of it. On the higher time frame, so levels we have below this weekly volume imbalance is this red line, which is on the daily, a daily low. It's a daily low that's kind of in some chop. I'll just go to it on the daily chart and show you. It's this daily low right here. So it's the next low below this weekly volume imbalance. I am kind of curious if possibly we want to respect this order block, this daily down close candle. That'd get us pretty high. So actually, let's see, where would that respecting that order block be? That would be like right above buy side. So makes sense. Let's wait and see where this draw on liquidity is. I'm liking downside, especially since ES looks a little heavier. And the dollar's rising. Of the dollar's still rising. Just going to outline that. I'd like to see if we are expecting downside price action, that fair value gap to be disregarded. So I'd like to see it just trade right through it. Okay, we're making a higher high on the dollar here. Okay, if we trade through that and come back up and tap it, I would enter that for shorts. I'm watching ES. I want to see if ES takes this low or not. If ES takes that low, I wouldn't want to enter on the upside. No, he kept it in. Dollar's still rising. Sell there, keep the stop right there. Okay, I'm specifically watching how ES is making this lower low. I like how strong the dollar looks. Okay, let's see how we treat this fair value gap. Looking for... I'm gonna exit this trade. Just because ES is making that lower low, and I don't want to be caught in any kind of SMT divergence to the upside, especially because we are in this 5-minute fair value gap right below sell side after taking sell side. And because when it tapped that and left it, it didn't want to continue down, leaving it. Yeah. So what I was waiting to see was I was waiting to see us go in, fill that fair value gap, and then when we came down and closed bearish, I wanted to see another bearish candle right after that. And when we didn't, and I saw the SMT divergence, I decided to, exit the trade. This still could go downside, but especially on this losing streak, I think we exited that for profit. I wouldn't really call it a win. Yeah, $10. I wouldn't call that a win. But it's not a loss. So let's see what ends up panning out. If we do come up and take this high, and we have that SMT divergence on the ES, I would be interested in seeing this buy side revisited, because while this was a higher high, it's kind of hard to see. There's a lot going on here. This was a higher high on NASDAQ. They're equal highs on ES. So let's see what happens. Remember, our stop was at the top of this candle, so this could come back down. But I'm fine with not being in it. Seems like a lot of the runs I've been in haven't been super smooth, which I'm getting pretty bothered about. But we will wait. We will be more patient for better runs. Yeah, so it's with the SMT divergence on ES, the fact that it tapped it and didn't continue lower. It's also a fair value gap on this 5-minute. We could still see lower prices. I'm not going to get bullish until we take out this high, but I also don't want to get caught in any afternoon chop. Okay, so there was, keep my cursor there for a moment. The dollar's still going up too, so the fact that the dollar's going higher, we can expect some more downside as long as that's continuing. Yeah, so dollar's really ripping higher. NASDAQ still doesn't want to make this lower low, which I think is interesting because NASDAQ's usually the leader, so I'm just going to watch this right now. But with the dollar, it's really ripping higher. Downside seems probable. So he came up, came down. Kind of consider this an order block, so could enter in right on the top of that. I wouldn't want to see it actually get any higher. I would want to see it tap that and just continue lower. Yeah. If we came up, tapped that, and this candle, the next two candles don't really drop and take this low. If we saw any retracement to this area, that would be a red flag for price action for me. Okay, interesting. I want to see how we treat this high. If we come up and take that high, I would not like that for downside price action. I'm going to go take a look at ES. So ES has come into a volume imbalance similar to NASDAQ on the higher time frame. ES is looking a lot more bearish. There wasn't as much consolidation during the lunch hour as NASDAQ did. ES is looking a lot more bearish, but now see you have the dollar kind of turning right here. ES, yeah, the SMT divergence. Whereas on NASDAQ, didn't make that lower low. Yes, you have equal highs up here. I would, if we get more candles like this, I'd enter a fair value gap long. I want to see one more. Looking at that as a little order block. Let's wait for this candle to print because I like that as a setup. Let's see what it wants to do. Dollar's dropping. Okay. Buy there, put our stops down. Okay, dollar, I'm watching the dollar go higher right now. But I want to see how this candle respects this fair value gap. I want to see it leave the fair value gap with intention. Okay, I'm feeling a little offsides here. I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit the trade. Let's flip over to the NASDAQ. Yeah, dollar's pushing higher. I just don't want to be in anything short while the dollar's going down like that. NASDAQ just doesn't want to make that lower low. See what happens right here. It's a lower low on ES, so I'm watching this 3 drives pattern. If we start to make some higher highs, I'd be interested in revisiting buy side. Kind of retracing back up into this daily fair value gap on the daily candle. Okay, so we're just paying attention to this SMT divergence between ES and the NASDAQ. I like how NASDAQ just took those lows as ES did for the 3rd time. I like how the dollar's kind of rounding out here. I want to see, do we start to make some higher highs? Because now that we took 1, 2, 3, liquidity 3 times, NASDAQ finally made that low. I'd be interested to see if we want to retrace into this orange area. This is the daily fair value gap. So what that would look like on the daily is we wicked into this volume imbalance. This is a weekly volume imbalance. And then our daily candle retraces back up into the daily fair value gap. So I kind of want to see us move through this blue shaded area to the upside. I want to see the dollar continue to drop. I want to see if we close above this area. If we don't close above this area and we just kind of come back down for another low, I won't be too interested in price anymore, because it'll be showing no willingness to drop further. Yeah, so I'm just noticing how there's no willingness to continue lower, even with this rising dollar. Not really interested in shorts just because I'd want to see us come back into more of a premium pullback before going lower. If we got animated to the upside and the dollar was dropping, I would be interested in longs, but this might be it for the day. Might just chop some wood. Yeah, so took a small loss. That trade actually ended up panning out for 10 handles and wanted to hit our stop, so I need to kind of reconsider what I'm doing here. Nasdaq's finally dropping a little more. Just kind of melting downwards right now. So just melting downwards. I'm not too interested in taking shorts. I'd want to see more of a pullback into a premium. If we got animated to the upside with the dollar dropping, I'd be interested in possibly scalping to the upside. But right now, I don't want to try and scalp to the downside after we've already hit so many downside targets. This could just be it for the day. I'll stick around just to watch if we see anything that sets up, but right now I'm not seeing much. I think this would have been a good silver bullet for the session. This fair value gap didn't materialize on NASDAQ, but it did on ES. I was watching NASDAQ at the time. I guess on NASDAQ, the premium array that it hit was this order block. So it came up, tapped the order block twice, and then went down. I was looking for more of a fair value gap to enter in on. So there wasn't really a downside fair value gap until maybe it was on a different time frame. No, there wasn't much for downside fair value gap on NASDAQ. I think this one, this inversion did deliver 10 handles, but then it would have came up and hit your stop, unless you put your stop up here, but yeah, I would also not enter anything long until the dollar takes out one of these lows. I could see us kind of melting down towards 50% of this volume imbalance. We're almost there. I'm probably just going to step away. I'm not too interested in the 3 to 4 session. And I've already been here. Already been here for an hour. Enjoy the rest of your day.